All right, now that test room is down for the weekend, I thought I'd make a video talking about the update notes and everything that you need to know regarding Darkmoor. Now that I've already played it, right, I went through the whole world, I've done all the side quests for the majority. I think one or two were bugged at the time, so I still need to do those, probably next week whenever we get test room back up. I thought I can, do the updates notes and like give a little bit more, thought process and how I've been feeling about certain things. So if you do enjoy this type of content, remember to leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff. But let's look at the update notes for Darkmoor, right? So this is the new villain that we have for the arc. So that is very interesting. I know I kind of already pointed that out in a couple YouTube shorts, but people were like, no, you have to wait till Darkmoor and whatnot. But usually whenever we get like a new villain or whatnot, it's kind of just already shown on the website. So it's just a dead giveaway. So there is that. Now, if we scroll down a little bit, they did show this teaser trailer, which I've already made a video on. I think it was like a 2-minute video or something. I talked about it, but it's kind of straightforward. And they did link the website, the Darkmoor website. So if you want to learn more about the factions and whatnot, you can visit here. The only one downside I didn't like about the whole faction thing is there was no gear per faction. I was really hoping that would get like a similar Mirage system because that's what it seemed like they were leaning towards, and a lot of people thought that. But lo and behold, we went to play test room and whatnot. There's nothing like that, which kind of disappointed me a bit. But hey, it's okay. But what are you gonna do? And then the music wasn't working in test room either, so we won't know what the music looks like. I don't know if it's gonna be in this upcoming patch for next week, or are we gonna just have to wait till live room to see what the music is? So currently it just uses old Darkmoor music. So if you hear music and whatnot, it's the same premise as the Darkmoor area. But we do have the areas. The areas look like fantastic. I will say I didn't have any problems with any of the areas. I think there was a dungeon in this area. It was this specific dungeon that was like bugged for so many hours. That zone, it's so hard to find things. But on challenge mode, the zone is just way more better. Like, like I don't even know how that happens, but for some reason, challenge mode zone is better than the standard mode zone. So there's that. But beyond that one, aesthetically, area to area, they all look amazing, and they didn't show the final zone on here either to keep, I guess, like teasers and whatnot. And then we did get improvements to photomancy. Now, I do like this photomancy update to a certain extent. They added like filters and whatnot, and now there's a section where you can just disable picture saving. So anytime you are doing, for example, like the Ghastly Conspiracy raid, you're not going to have to worry about your photomancy folder having a million pictures of fish. Now there's a thing where like it auto deletes it. So that's a function that, I feel like a lot of people have been wanting, and I'm kind of glad that's a thing now. But one thing I don't like about the this new update is, for me, whenever I take pictures for thumbnails and stuff like that, I always hold down the left click button and it puts the HUD away. But that's no longer the case, so I always have to just move left to right every so often to make the HUD go away. And that's like the one downside about photomancy I don't like. Or if there's a way to like, make the HUD disappear, take pictures, there needs to be something like that, because yeah, taking pictures, for me at least, for thumbnail sake, is kind of annoying. I know some people might be like, well, just take a picture with the photomancy and save it. It actually loses some quality, so that's why I do it the way I do. So that's like the one downside. But other than that, yeah, you can keep or trash pictures. And then there's the filters. I think there needs to be an intensity thing on these, because some of this is like too bright. I mean, they didn't show the other ones, but one of them is like really bright and it's hard on the eyes. So I'm hoping that they have like an intensity option, so it's like, decrease the brightness and whatnot. But yeah, that kind of needs to happen. And you might be wondering, well, some people might not want this update, but for the final dungeon, you are actually going to have to use photomancy, and it's actually used in one of the zones. I believe it's Mortal Plains, which is right here, where there's like vampires and stuff like that. You do actually use the photomancy thing in here. So there is some mainline stuff that does require photomancy now. So there is that. Then we do have the spells. I've already made a video going over all the animations, but I didn't do a video of my thought process, and I might save that. I don't know if I still am, but what I've noticed is all these spells are 170. They're not 180 level locked. So anything that's like Salnopolis challenge modes, and as well as Wallu challenge modes, as well as the new challenge modes, you're allowed to use these spells in there, which caught me kind of off guard. I thought these were all going to be level 180 gated, but no, they're all 170. So this does open up some new strategy for certain rematches, or not certain rematches, certain strategies for challenge modes, as well as you could use these in the raid as an option. But I think people are still going to lean towards like their Onis, their Jins, and the 2x Gambits, whatnot. People are just going to lean towards those instead. But when it comes to like actual practical use, like hey, when you're questing and whatnot, majority of census, and I kind of already knows too, or majority of people aren't using this. I've seen the comments on the animation video. Everyone wants AoEs. Now, I need people to understand, we got AoEs in Walroo, and then we got single target spells in Soundnopolis. We're not going to be getting AoEs every update. There's going to be spells that are targeted towards a specific line of combat and whatnot, and this is one of those. So for example, like Soundnopolis spells were great. They were really good 7-pip hits. I think Life kind of got shafted. I still think Life should have like a path, an additional path where it's just a straight damage 7-pip instead of it just being a heal, but they kind of got shafted in that regard. It's just a heal. But don't get me wrong, Twilight's a really good spell, like for healing and stuff. But regardless, all the other schools got a good 7-pip hit, and that was a really good. No, all those spells were really good. Walroo, of course, we did have all the AoEs. Those were really good. I think people were expecting something else, maybe better 10 pips. Like, it's kind of difficult for Storm because we have Storm Owl, and Storm Owl is just so good. Like, why would I ever use Storm Owl, or why would I ever use Tower instead of Storm Owl when Storm Owl does so much more damage and whatnot? Unless they audit Storm Owl, which I kind of don't want them to do, or if they ban Path A, which I don't like. This is this is another topic which I don't like, why PvP players don't like certain spells, and then indirectly it affects advanced, like, PvE strats, like when it comes to like raids and challenge modes. So if a PvP player says, hey, I don't like Storm Owl, and a bunch of people say, hey, I don't like Storm Owl, and then indirectly that gets banned or changed, well, that also affects all the strats for advanced combat and for like raids and rematches, which I don't like. I hate when that happens, and it kind of like makes me not want to do certain strats or not want to make guides, because the fact is I have to change them every so often. Now I get it, like if it's like once a year or whatnot, sure, that's fine. But it's like every other patch, and I have to worry about changing a strategy for a certain boss that not many people are going to want to do anyways. It's very annoying. It's very annoying. But regardless, you guys let me know your thoughts and opinions on the spells. I think animation wise, my favorite were probably the ice and myth spells, and then bounce spell. I'm not a fan of the fire one. It's just Raging Bull. The life one I didn't quite understand. The death one is just a reskin of Headless Horseman, and the tower, I don't know. it's a big building, right? I was hoping for something else animation wise. You saw the lightning strike down on the tower, and it has this huge effect. I thought like the tower was gonna explode into a whole bunch of pieces or something like that, but instead you just see this tiny door open, shoot out lightning, which kind of like, it had a good startup, don't get me wrong. It's just the ending was not that great. If the ending was good, it would probably be better or even equivalent to these spells animation wise, but no. So there's that, and then also there is fusion formulas for these, which, I mean, there's not much to talk about right there. It's just, I would have to do a shadow pack video talking about that, but that's different. And then of course, as we're talking about shadow packs, there is the whole feature with shadow packs and whatnot. I'm not going to explain this because, I'm gonna be honest, I've made countless videos on shadow packs, and then on top of that, I even made a video regarding the tutorial. And the tutorial, from my opinion, it explains it very well, right? It literally explains what I've been saying, and then on top of that, you can see it like in the visual standpoint on how that works. So if you are wanting to learn more about shadow packs, you guys can read through this, or on top of that, do the tutorial in game, which will be in Mooncliffs. So do that, and there is a video on the channel for each variation of that stuff, so watch that. And then you get the onboarding, yeah, Eclipse Tower, which is Sophia, Dark Side, and Eclipse Tower. So you can train all your fusion stuff, whatnot, in Eclipse Tower, but once you finish the new story in Darkmoor, all that stuff that's from Eclipse Tower is going to be moved to the Shadow School. So there is now a like actual Shadow School in Darkmoor, and you can go to the Arcanum and visit the Shadow Scholar, and instead she's not going to be there anymore. Now it's going to be a teleporter that takes you to the Shadow School in Darkmoor. So nice little things there, and it helps make things easier to like traverse. Yeah, why not? So there is that, and then they did change some spells course, Dark Pact got some changes. Now it's no longer called Dark Pact, it's called Dark Tribute. So there is, yeah, right here. There'll be a portal in Arcanum's Hall of Shadow. There's that. Spells and combat changes. Yes, I don't think this. Maybe I glanced past it when I did it, but there is some changes to a lot of these fights. We have Lightbane's being changed, Morganth rematch, Groundskeeper Willie, which I didn't even think would be getting changed. The Shadow, that's also getting changes. Omen got changes, so I will have to revisit Omen and probably make a new strat because if this is affecting Omen, people do farm Omen for the masteries and whatnot, so we'll probably have to make a new strat for that. Corporal Tenny also got changed. What people used to farm back in the day for the robes, I mean, is it worth farming nowadays? It's up to you to decide. I wouldn't. And then there's King of Vernus. Not quite ready yet, will be available in a later patch, which I wonder how that's gonna work, because yeah, King of Vernus does do his shadow thing, so that will be adjusted. But I didn't see Ghastly on here. I doesn't see, yeah, I don't, there weren't any changes. I mean, I know that there's changes to Ghastly, but I wish it would write it here. Unless I'm blind, but yeah, no, there's nothing related to Ghastly. I think that should be on there. There's also guild improvements. Now there is a like new role right here, lieutenant. Lieutenants have all powers of a guild leader except for renaming the guild and removing the guild leader. So this makes it easier for them to give. I haven't tested it, but I assume the lieutenant can give people perms and whatnot. And yeah, they can now award guild badges. They also guild badges and whatnot. But the one downside is once you leave a guild, it removes all earned guild badges. Also, I don't know how it works for if you're the leader, if you get access to the badge. I wasn't able to test this stuff. This is something I have to test next week. But my question is, if you're the guild leader, do you get these guild badges? If not, that's kind of a downside, I guess, to being the leader, which might be annoying. Another thing I do like is friends that are also in your guild no longer count towards your maximum friend list, which is very good because the amount of people I have added that are from a guild take up a lot of my friend space. So now this being an actual thing makes it a lot more better. And then, oh, they also changed this. So this kind of gives me the idea what the next raid is, because number of players required to create a guild is now reduced from 12 to 8. Now, the original 3 sets of raids we had, which is the Void Raid, Azteca Raid, and Polaris Raid, those require all 12 people. But with the Ghastly Conspiracy Raid, it's 8. So I'm assuming, judging by feedback, they actually are leaning towards 8-player raids now, and this kind of just tells us that. So I'm assuming for the next raid, we are going to have another 8-player raid, which is very interesting to see. I mean, I'll be surprised to go back to 12, but I think the general sense is that everyone wants 8, and to keep it consistent that way. So there's that. When a player hasn't logged on for a while, it's easy. The status is checked per account for all characters. Okay, this is already knew about. The radio wheel. Now, okay, there is some things I want to talk about this. So you can, yeah, emoting is easier than ever. The radio wheel has been upgraded with smoother controls, faster access, and expanded flexibility. So I've seen people do this. You can now add mini chat phrases to your wheel, which I'm not too sure. There has to be a timer on this because people can spam this. So you can literally just middle click on it, and then spam it over and over and over and over, and it'll just flood the chat. So I'm assuming there's a timer on it, because that's what happened with the cough emote. It would keep spamming cough in the chat, so people are just flooding the chat on purpose and not get, like, nothing would happen to them. And then now there's like different sets. You can have custom 1, custom 2, custom 3, and then you can rename these, and these all have 5 different wheels on them. In the future, I mean, I feel like a lot of people, if you bought every emote, you're getting closer and closer to 100 emotes. And what's going to happen is they're going to release an emote expand elixir, and I already know that's going to happen, just because if you pay attention to everything else that happens in the game, we have a friends elixir, we have backpack elixirs, we have bank elixirs, we have housing elixirs, we have expansion to like the amount of housing items you have, etc, etc. And we're getting close to 100 emotes, so I kind of expect 100 or like a 50 plus elixir to expand on emotes. I still am waiting till this day that they have the ability to let us keep our emotes across characters, because yeah, I'm not a fan of buying emotes on every character. That's why my Storm is the only one that has all my emotes, and I think he has every emote except maybe one, but for sure he has all the emotes. So there's that. And but it makes using emotes easier, and now I can actually fit all my emotes in different sections. So there's that. Bug fixes. Where is it? Oh yeah, now you can actually do this. You can buy treasure cards from the what's it called, librarian in the commons. So that's now a thing. Before it was like removed due to issues, and now it's back, thankfully. And then change references in the matching mirror shot from gender to style. And then you can skip all tutorials via button. Good. And more sandy skeleton hatching options are now working as intended. So I will have to update the what's it called, graphic for this, and see what's working, what's not. So we'll have to check that, and I'll make an updated. I probably won't make an updated video. I might just update the comment section on that video and then update the graphic so everything's working as intended. And then these are patch notes that were. Oh, there's a lot more. Okay. These are patch notes that a lot of things were bugged in the main line during this whole past week, which I'm not gonna go over because there were a lot of issues. Certain, basically the TLDR, certain quest blockers were happening, certain dungeons weren't working properly to a certain extent. Some bosses had extra cheats, or like they were like loop cheats when they weren't supposed to. So for example, I'll probably post a video of a boss casting the same cheat for like 5 minutes. That's probably going to be a video at some point on the channel, and that's kind of it. And then there's also the ability to spawn in the secret boss in Howling Lands, which that is the Headless Horseman boss, which I've already covered on the channel. So just little things here and there that they have fixed for Darkmoor, which I won't really go over as much, but yeah. And then there's this, certain things also got changed. Iron Curse spell writing tabs are now visible, which I haven't seen what Iron Curse looks like. I would have to see if it's actually good or not. I've been waiting for Iron Curse to get updated, but we'll have to see. Some updates to certain bosses as well. I know someone was talking about this, where a boss in Darkmoor didn't remove his immune aura after resummoning his minions. And then one of the bosses currently, like, all their cheats are just removed currently because they're not fix it, which I think Dom's working on, because I think that's his zone. So we'll have to see what he cooks up for that. And then, oh yeah, there's some issues with the gas and conspiracy raid. So basically these are all like test run things that they had to fix. This one was funny. There was like a huge temp sign in the middle of the final dungeon, and I made a joke that that's the actual final boss and whatnot. So there's that. And then this is the final section that I want to talk over, which I really think they did a good job of this. And I'm the type of person who's, hey, if you guys are making changes to the game, let us know. Don't like sugarcoat it or cookie cutter or whatnot, and just be like, hey, this happened. Oh, or they just won't tell us, and we'll just have to figure it out ourselves. There is a huge spell audit, which I've covered multiple times on the channel, different sections, and they added, I guess you can say, tabs for every single spell that got changed. Now I'm only going to go over certain ones just because I've already made videos on the channel covering all this. The only thing I didn't cover, you guys can see, like, I'm not even done opening every single tab. That's how many spell changes are. But shout out to the devs for actually showing this, because me personally, I like seeing all this. I want to know what got changed, right? And I don't think I'll make a video going over all this, because there's already videos on the channel going over all this. Like, you guys can see I'm not even done like that. And then there's even more. There's even weaving spells that got changed. I think it's just like slight adjustments. If you can currently open, you guys can see slight adjustments to all these. Yeah, they're like, the fact that there can be a bigger spell audit in the future is kind of crazy to think about, and this is just the beginning. It is wow. But one thing I do want to go over is the shadow spells. Now, we didn't know this, as you know, if you guys seen, I've gotten teasers, and a couple of the content creators got teasers for spells, and those are the shadow pact variations of the spells, and they actually got renamed. So the shadow variation of FFA is now called Night Raid. Raging Bull is now called Wicked Bull. Scimitars is called Shade Scimitars. S'mores Machine is called, I can't even pronounce that, but yeah, you know what I mean. Blastoff is called Into Darkness. Weaver is now Dark Weaver. Snowball Barrage is Snow No Mercy. Clima is now Dark Age. Shatterhorn is now Shadowhorn. Freeze Ray is Evil Freeze Ray. Glowbug is now Gloam Bugs. Rosolka's Wrath is Rosolka's Flood. Iron Sultan, Shadow Sultan. Sound of Musicology is now Shade of Musicology. Dark and Stormy is Fear of the Dark. Mystic is now called Curse Colossus. Witch's House Call is now called Hex House. Snake Charmer is now Serpent Beguiler. Tatzel is now Tatzel Horror. Barbarian Saga is Bale Barbarian. Caterpillar, Moody Caterpillar. Wings of Fate, Wings of Night. Lamasu, Delphi. English, bro. Grenadier, Grim Grenadier. Lord Jungle, Lord of the Wilds. Lulu is now called From Beyond. Wing Sorrow is Sorrow's Shadow. Kisma's Curse, Kisma's Wrath. Snack Attack, Dark Hunger. Grim Reader is now Grim Irredeemer. And then Gaze of Fate is now Shadow of Fate. Nested Furies, Nested Darkness. Shadow Worm, Abyssal Worm, Mockenspiel, Boxenspiel. And then Old One's Endgame is Eldritch Checkmate. And then there were some changes to these, which I've already covered on the channel. I think, yeah, so writing the skills in Eye of Vigilance now was a Shad pip. Now it's back to being a bounce spell for 3 pips, and it's banned from advanced content. So interesting to see there. And then these are like changes that we've already like seen, or we've already, yeah. Bottom path, some new changes. There, Steel Charm is now banned from advanced combat. A lot of spells got banned from advanced combat, like Link. Even Cleanse Charm got even banned. Where is it? Cleanse Charm, right here. Now, notes: TC and item cards are unbanned and given to the mid school, but banned from advanced combat. Disarm, I don't think they added. Oh yeah, they added it in unbanned and given to ice school. But the actual disarm spell is banned, which they just need to make these trainable to the correct schools. I'm kind of waiting on that. I don't think they should have done this yet. I think they should have held off on this, same thing with Cleanse Charm and everything like that, till we have the ability to train these from the actual proper school. Because it's kind of annoying. Now it's like we have to go get TCs and then convert them and whatnot, which is a tad bit annoying in that certain regard. And yeah, all this other stuff I've kind of already went over on the channel, so watch all the other spell videos on the channel where I literally go over all these changes. The only thing that was like the main change I didn't go over was the names, because we didn't know that as we were given teasers that they were going to change the name, but now they changed the names. I guess just so people don't get confused of, hey, I'm going to use FFA. No, I'm going to use Shad FFA. Now it's, hey, I'm going to use FFA. No, I'm going to use Night Raid. Which people are going to just have to get used to. I think people are still going to call them the Shad enhanced variations of them. I think it'll just, over time, people will call them the new spell names, but it's going to happen tomorrow, probably not. And I think, all this other stuff we kind of already went over on the channel. And they do have, like, the HD variations of these, which I kind of like how they showed this and whatnot. They kind of should have showed them for here, too, but, I mean, I guess not. I mean, they still explained it here. Yeah, 30% incoming, 50%. Yeah, okay. But those are all the changes. When it comes to Darkmoor, I'm kind of looking forward to this update in general. When it comes to Live Realm, there are some things I need to do. There's some new builds I have to make, whatnot. There's so many challenges. There's so many videos to make, realistically. I have like a whole spreadsheet of videos that I need to make, and I've been slowly catching up since this test room is down this weekend. It gives me time to catch up on videos and actually catch up on sleep. I've been not getting proper sleep at all this past week because of so much Darkmoor testing, and I've been working on guides for you guys as well, where to farm spell elements and stuff, so you guys will see that video eventually on the channel of where to farm your new Darkmoor spells, because there are spell elements for the new spells and whatnot, and you're going to need them, especially because there are fusion variations of these, and you will need extra spell elements for these, so just remember that. But a video on the channel will eventually be out talking all about that. But that is it for Darkmoor. Let me know what you guys think of the patch notes and whatnot. I know it's a lot, like look how much I'm scrolling down, and I haven't even opened each and individual tab, but yeah, like most of the weaving stuff got like slight damage increases and whatnot. Yeah, but that is it for me. Leave a like, subscribe, all type of stuff, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.